Hello everyone, I am Ambarish from Mumbai, a Microsoft Office specialist, welcoming you to the video on basic concepts of Microsoft Excel. I'll be using Microsoft Excel 2016 for the demonstration, but the concepts will apply on the earlier versions as well. Okay, we will talk about absolute, partial, and relative referencing. Okay, so first of all, let's just take a look at the data which is given to us. I am on a file called Excel2, and there are multiple sheets. I'm on the very first sheet that says referencing. So the topic referencing has three subtopics. Let's look at them one by one. All right. I've been given a column of 5 salary figures. It's a dummy data. Some names also have been given to me. Like I said, it's a false data. And I've been asked to calculate mobile allowance of all these employees. The company policy says mobile allowance is 5% of the salary, right? The company also gives fuel allowance, 10% of the salary. And then there are some other allowances that the company offers to these employees, right? Okay. Company also offers 20% as vacation allowance. That's nice, right? Okay, like I said, it's a dummy data. Don't look at the figures, but yes, the concept is real, right? What I have to do is I have to perform calculations in such a way that the salary of each person gets multiplied by 5% and the answers are available here, right? The salary of each person gets multiplied by 10% and the answers are available throughout the fuel column, and so on for the rest of the columns. Right? I have 5 columns, but in the more realistic data, you may have more than 5 columns, right? Let's see, how do we do the calculation? First of all, I will come to the very first cell, equal to. I will always begin my calculations with equal to. I will take the reference of the salary cell, which is just the left cell. I'll give the multiplication symbol, and I will take the reference of the D4 cell. So when I am multiplying a cell with another cell, or a simple addition of 2 or more cells, it's called relative referencing. Okay, now I can simply hit enter or control enter, and that's it. I've got the answer. Now if I drag it down, or I can double click, I will notice that the answers are not correct for the remaining 4 employees. What has happened here is, when you press F2 here to expose the calculation, it shows you that the salary of the second person has been multiplied by D5. D5 is actually a text that says mobile. And because Excel didn't understand what we're looking for, it gave us a hash value error, right? Same goes with the third employee. Let's just check this for the third employee. I'll just press F2 and it says C8, which is the salary of the third employee, is getting multiplied by D6, which is the mobile allowance of the first employee. Doesn't make any sense, all right? Yeah, so what has happened here is the D4 cell is shifting 1 cell down. And to avoid this, we need to do something to ensure that the 5% cell, that is D4, remains constant. And to do that, we will use the F4 key on our keyboard. Remember, on some laptops, you'll have to press the function as well as the F4 key. All right, so let's see. Let me go to the very first cell. Okay, I'll press F2 because I wish to now edit. All right, my cursor is blinking after D4, and here is where I will hit the F4 key. Okay, F4 means it will give me $1 before 4 and also $1 before D, which means the cell where the D column intercepts with the 4th row has been made constant, right? Now I can just control enter again, and I can double click again and check it out. This time it is multiplying every salary figure with D4. This time it's not coming 1 cell down, right? Okay, let's check for each employee here, and yes, there is D4, that is the second multiplier along with salary. Okay, so this is called absolute referencing, where you simply hit the F4 key and get a couple of dollars. Okay, now friends, let's also look at partial referencing. All right. Now we have 5 columns to work with. Had it been a case of just 1 or 2 columns, I would have used the absolute referencing concept and done the calculation individually for each column. Okay. But because I have multiple columns, let's see what I can do. First of all, let's just delete this. This was just to demonstrate the absolute referencing. So let me just delete this. So Control Shift down on the entire column and delete. Right. Let me come back to my first cell. Right. Now let me begin with equal to. I will take the reference of the salary cell. What I will do here is I will do the calculation in the very first cell, and then when I get the answer, I will simply drag it on my right and then downwards. That's my whole agenda. All right. I do not wish to do every column individually. I would like to do it in one go. So let me just do the referencing here in such a way that when I get the answer for the first cell, I should be simply able to sit back and drag on the right, drag downwards. So what I will do is I will press F4 here to make the C6 constant. But remember, I want this C6 to move down and become C7, C8, C9. All I want is the C to remain constant, right? So I will press another instance of F4. All right, please note that so far I've only hit one instance of F4 and it's given me a couple of dollar symbols. So the entire C6 cell has been made constant. Let me hit another instance of F4. You will notice that the dollar now remains only before 6, which means it is making the 6th row constant. We don't require that. What we want is the C column to remain constant, not the 6th row. Okay, so I can hit F4 again. Notice here that I've hit F4 for the 3rd time now, and now I can see that the C column is made constant. Now I can give the multiplication symbol. I can take the reference of the D4 cell. When I drag it on my right hand side, I want this D4 to automatically become E4 to capture 10% for fuel, and so on. Hence, I would like the 4th row to remain constant and not the D column. Right? I want this D4 to become E4 and then F4 and then G4 and then H4. Hence, I will press F4 once and then another instance of F4. So twice I have pressed F4 to make only the row constant. So the bottom line is you will have to hit F4 thrice to make the column constant and twice to make only the row constant. That's it. I can now hit Control Enter. I've got the answer for the first cell. I can simply drag it on the right hand side now. If I do not wish to drag, I can just select the entire remaining cells and press Control R, and that's it. While the first row of my calculation is already selected, I can just do a double click, and that's it. I've done the entire calculation in comparatively lesser amount of time. So what we've seen is when you press F4, when you multiply 2 cells, it's a case of relative referencing. When you hit the F4 key once to get a couple of dollars to make a cell constant, it's called absolute referencing. And when you keep hitting the F4 key multiple times to change the positioning of the dollar, it's called partial referencing.